Welcome to Hilltop Views. I'm Chris Hostetler, and this video continues our series, Uncertain Seas, Navigating 2021 Tax Reform. Today, we have a case study on Roth conversions. Roth conversions are something that we consider for clients all the time, and this is not specific to the current tax reform proposals, but the possibility of future higher income tax rates could make Roth conversions a more attractive strategy for some people. So let's get into it. So here are the case facts for our study today. We are looking at our fictitious clients, Roy and Keely. Roy and Keely are 62 years old. They're married and are both retiring at the end of this year. They are also selling their communication consulting business and will have some funds from that. And in retirement, they expect to receive some pension and Social Security income, but most of their retirement income will be funded by their portfolio. Their financial goals are to maintain a lifestyle where they spend about $125,000 a year throughout retirement and increasing with inflation. They would also like to leave an inheritance for Roy's niece, and they would also like to minimize income taxes. So in looking at the projection of their asset values throughout retirement, we can see that they expect their asset values to climb, and even as they're pulling money out, they should have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they want. And it looks like they'll actually be able to leave a substantial inheritance to Phoebe. So this assumes that they both die at age 100, and the portfolio value is about $6.8 million at that time. That's not the entire inheritance, although we'll look at that in a few minutes. So Roy and Keely are fine, but why settle for fine? Let's see if we can do anything about their income taxes to actually make this look a little bit better. So if we look at the breakdown of their assets by tax type, we can see that this green piece of the pie shows their tax-deferred assets, that's IRAs and 401ks, are about 61% of the value of their current portfolio. Now, it's important to remember that as they pull funds out of the tax-deferred assets, they will have to pay income tax on every dollar that they distribute. Switching now to a projection of their income tax bill by each year, we can look at this projection and see that, of course, this year where they're both working and selling their business, there is a very high level of income and therefore a pretty high tax bill. There might be strategies that we could do to minimize that, but that's not for today's case study. What we're focusing on is this very low income that they have for the next 10 years or so, but then increasing in the year 2031. And that's because for the first years in retirement, they will be living off of the proceeds from the sale of the business and also their pension. And then when they turn 70, they plan to take Social Security. So you see a little increase at that time. But when they turn 72, you can see a more significant increase in the expected tax bill. And this is using the current tax code. The future tax hit could be even worse if tax rates rise between now and the year 2031. So let's consider shifting some income from those future years where taxable income is very high into the next few years where taxable income is comparatively lower. So we're going to start with a Roth conversion where we take money out of Roy's 401k and move it into his Roth IRA. And we're just going to do $10,000 a year. And we plan to do that each year between now and when he turns 72 years old. And you can see now that he has a little bit less money in his portfolio. It's almost too small to even see here, but he is paying taxes as he converts money from the 401k to his Roth IRA. But then in the future, because he is not having to take those dollars out of his IRA and pay taxes at those future higher tax rates, the total size of his portfolio actually grows. And at the time he turns 100 and Keely turns 100, the net portfolio value is almost $500,000 larger than it would have been otherwise. That sounds pretty nice. So let's consider getting a little more aggressive with it and actually doing Roth conversions of $50,000 a year for the next 10 years. And we will actually see that the tax bills during that 10-year period are larger. So we expect the portfolio value to drop in size. And that is indeed what happens. There's a little bit more of a cost here in the early years. But around the time that Roy and Keely turn 80 years old, they've turned the corner and actually have more money in their total portfolio because of the value of those Roth conversions. And by the time they're 100, their net portfolio value is almost $2 million larger than it would have been without the Roth conversions. So let's look at what that does for their third financial goal that we've listed, which was leaving an estate to Roy's niece, Phoebe. So without the Roth conversions, we can see that net of taxes, the total amount to heirs is $9.6 million. With the benefit of those Roth conversions over the years, by the time Roy and Keely die at age 100, the total to heirs is $11.8 million. So Phoebe is a very fortunate niece. One final reminder, every financial planning decision involves trade-offs, and your situation will not be the exact same as what we've illustrated here. So you should always consult with your financial planner and certainly with your tax advisor when you're considering any tax strategies. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.